All right, so I have some high school seniors here with me today that are here to talk about Trojan Pride. And all of them are alumni of Fairfield Middle School. So they have all had experience sitting in the seats in the classrooms that you are all in today. And so we invite them here to kind of share some of their experiences regarding, their middle school days, some high school days, and how that relates to having Trojan Pride in and out of the classroom. So we're going to start off by introducing ourselves, and then we'll kind of get started into the questions. And I'm Mr. Copeland. I work here at the high school, and so we'll let the students start introducing themselves.
Hi guys, my name is Bailey Hurd. I am in 12th grade. I am involved in softball, bowling, FCA, National Honor Society, and a couple other activities. And I would say that my favorite teacher and class in middle school would have to be Mr. Owen's class.
I'm Brad Smithberg. I've been involved in baseball, football, golf, and FFA. And I would say my favorite class in middle school was Mr. Clem's science class.
My name is Claire Pettit. I am a senior, and I am in band, choir, student council, FBLA, NHS, and tennis. And my most memorable middle school moment was probably making the mousetrap cars in Mr. Clem's class. And I also really liked Miss Blakely's 7th grade science class.
I'm Trisha Westfall, and I participate in soccer, National Honor Society, and student council. And my favorite moment in middle school is when we would have like kickball tournaments in homerooms with like different classes.
Those are definitely always fun. So as you guys can see and hear, all of our students here today are involved in a lot of activities. So can you guys just kind of touch base a little bit on how being involved in activities has been beneficial to you? Who would like to start?
I'll go ahead and start.
Okay.
I would say that the biggest thing for me that has been beneficial to being in activities was helping with time management. And it really keeps you accountable to have like a limited amount of time for everything, to just make sure your schedule is, what's the word I'm looking for? Making sure that everything you're doing is fitting into a certain time, and just making sure you have time for everything, especially homework.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing as Bailey. Time management is a big one because there's a lot of activities in high school, and a lot of them sound really fun, and you might be interested in a lot of them. And it's really awesome if you can do all of them, but it's also, you have your homework too. So being able to balance schoolwork and activities is a really good thing to learn for the rest of your life. You'll use that too.
I was gonna say it helps with responsibility, because you have to hold yourself accountable for getting to every practice and every game, and also doing your homework and staying on top of stuff and getting good grades.
Like all the girls said, I think the most important thing to take away from being involved in activities is just learning the responsibility and the time management that come with each one of them. For example, different activities, you're going to have different time slots, like say football in the fall. You got lifting early in the morning, or another sport, any sport where you have lifting, you got to be sure to make it in every morning to lifting. You're not going to be able to play on the games and everything like that. So I think the biggest thing for me is just learning the responsibilities that can transfer into your daily lives outside of school and in school as well.
Okay, great points. So think back to your 5th and 6th grade days. I know it was a long time ago. What are some ways that you can give students to get involved? What are some things that maybe you did when you were in 5th and 6th grade? Or maybe you have some siblings who were, active in different things. What are some things and some ways that students this age could get involved?
Well, I know that in 5th and 6th grade, you can participate in the plays and musicals that they have at the school, and that's what I did. And I also was in book club. I'm not sure if that's a thing anymore with Miss Mangler, and drama club as well. So those are a few ways that you can get involved before 7th and 8th grade.
I know that I participated in a lot of like youth camps that they had. Like I went to like youth basketball camps, and they probably have some other ones too, but that's just when I went to.
I enjoyed the music stuff in middle school, so I would just say that if you find something that you really like to do, just 100% go for it. Like apply yourself to it and just get the everything you can out of it.
I know I was always big on sports when I was younger and still am. So, like Trisha said, I think getting involved with different youth camps. I always enjoyed the baseball camp during the summer when you're not in school. It's a good way to get together and practice and just spend time with your classmates and teammates. And I think just finding a way, whether sports is it for you or music or drama or whatever it is, I think there's all sorts of different ways in school and out of school you can get involved with whatever it is you enjoy doing.
Were any of you ever in 4-H?
Mhm.
You know, no 4-Hers?
I wasn't, but when I got to high school, I joined FFA right away, and I think 4-H is something that if you're not in and are interested in being an FFA in the future, I think it's something that is really beneficial to you, just getting an idea, because they're very, very similar in the way they kind of operate and what they look at and focus on. So I think if you're not already involved in that, that'd be something beneficial.
Can you just give a little bit of what exactly is FFA? Just a little bit of like what you guys do, just so the 5th and 6th graders know.
Yeah. So it originally, when we originally started, it was all about farming, hence the name Future Farmers of America. But now it's really progressed to anything related to agriculture or natural resources. I'm big on the natural resources side of things. I like the outdoors and things like that. So that's more of where I like to focus in the FFA and the agricultural side of things. But there's everything from farming to different agronomy work, and anything related to agriculture is kind of what we focus on, and different contests. In the spring, we go to a state contest in Ames. I don't know if we'll get to do it this year or not, and in the fall is normally when we go to National Convention in Indianapolis. And it's just a great time to build relationships with different people and ultimately prepare you for the workforce in the future.
Yeah, great points. I mean, all the activities that you guys have mentioned are great for getting you involved, but you also get to meet a lot of people too. So there's a lot of quality things you can learn from being in different types of activities. So thank you for sharing more on the FFA part. So looking back on Trojan Pride, we talked a little about what the Pride stands for. How has this shaped your thinking and your actions from your middle school days, even up through high school? Using the acronym PRIDE, being prepared, respectful, showing integrity, being dependable, and being environmentally aware and safe. How have those things kind of shaped the way you do things?
Well, I think Trojan Pride is something that you're going to use your entire life. Like, I know it's just Trojan Pride, but these are things that you'll need even after high school. So how they've shaped me though is because just being prepared to learn, that is something you'll really need in high school. Showing up to school every day prepared. Being respectful to others, that's always something you need to do. And integrity, doing the right thing even when no one's watching, very important. Being dependable, this goes out of school too, just being a dependable friend, student, and environmentally aware and safe, especially when you're able to drive to school on your own. Now you have a lot more freedom in high school, so that's always something to have as well.
Yeah, I would say I know that in middle school, I always thought that environmentally aware and safe was such didn't matter in middle school, but it really does matter. Like once you get older, you just need to have the mindset to always be safe and check your surroundings and just make sure that what you're doing is smart.
I think Trojan Pride, like, it drives me to be like successful. Like all the points that Trojan Pride means, it just gives me the mindset to help me to work hard in everything I do.
I think kind of engraving these different things, being prepared, being respectful, having integrity, being dependable and aware and safe. I think they're all things that if you take the time in middle school and understand, really, you don't have to second guess yourself when you're in high school and a situation pops up, or just your day-to-day life when you have to be respectful and you have to be prepared. I think those things are already going to be engraved in your mind, and they're already what you think about every single day, and you won't have to think about each one of those things in a certain situation. You'll just react, and I think that'll carry you far in high school and college and life in general.
Okay, great. So the next question is kind of a difficult one because we don't always like to talk about when we fail or when things don't go the way we want to. So could you tell us about a time where you have failed at something or learned a lesson the hard way, and what did you learn from, that happening? So who would like to kick us off on this one?
I suppose I can start.
There we go.
So being as involved as I am in sports and activities like that, I think everybody that if you're ever on a sports field or a basketball court, baseball field, you're going to fail at some point. None of us are perfect. And trust me, I've had my fair share of failing through my high school athletic career. Be too hard to pick out one certain situation, but I think learning to fail is like the best opportunity you can get for being able to achieve something or to get it right. If you don't fail through life, then you must have a pretty darn good life, if you ask me. But I think everybody fails at some point, and learning that failing is a part of it just drives you harder and harder to get to the point where you're not failing, and it makes that point even better when you make it there.
Good.
So for me, I am in choir, and every year I would try out for All-State, which is this big group choirs from all over the state of Iowa come together, and you have to audition every year, and it's really hard to make it in, and I never made it in. I tried year after year, and I never got in. And so every year it was, it was sad, but I just thought, I'll try again next year. And even though every time I failed, I have learned that it was a great experience, just the auditions and singing with other people, even though I didn't get to make it to All-State. So while it was a difficult thing for me at the time, I'm really glad that I got the experience from it, and it all worked out in the end anyways.
Great.
A time when I failed was like I try to be perfectionist, so I try to be perfect at everything, and I'm not always perfect. Like in soccer, when a goal gets past me or ball gets past me, because I'm the goalie, I get kind of mad because I try to be perfect. But I've learned that it's okay not to be perfect, and it's actually better because it gives you room to grow, and you're not always bored by being perfect all the time. You always have something to work on and get better at. It gives you goals.
Good.
I don't have anything for this one.
Can't think of anything.
I would just say that, failing is something that is going to happen to everybody, and it's just important life lesson. You can't learn if you don't fail, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, like, we all fail at something sometimes. Not everything's going to ever go your way whenever you want it. So it's how you cope with it, and move forward when things don't go the exact way they're planned. So those are all great tips. The next question. Okay, so you have to tell a 5th or 6th grade appropriate story, okay, about how you might have resisted peer pressure. All right. So think about your past. Has there been a case where you have felt peer pressure to do something maybe you didn't want to do, or maybe you didn't think was right? And how did you deal with that peer pressure?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
So there have been a few times when I've been peer pressured, but not that much. But one time that really sticks out to me, there's like 10 other students, and we were working on something for school. And one of them asked me if I wanted to do something that was not very good. And I just said no. Like, I just straight up said no. I didn't make an excuse. I just told them what I felt, and I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
I think for me, no,
Go.
go ahead.
You go.
I think for me, I don't know if there's there's definitely been plenty of scenarios where I've been peer pressured. But besides just a specific scenario, I think that kind of takes us back to Trojan Pride and thinking about all those things. While they don't directly correlate to every situation, just having that mindset that I'm going to be respectful, I'm going to show integrity, not just to other people, but to myself. I'm not going to do something that's going to put my health or my future in danger. So I think giving yourself enough respect to know that I can't do this and to make the right decision, because every situation is going to happen to somebody. I mean, at some point in high school or college, you're going to be put in a situation where you're uncomfortable, and you just need to know how to react. And keeping those thoughts in your head are going to give you the opportunity to not have to think about it and just react in the proper way.
So if there's ever a situation where I am unsure of what to do, if I'm even questioning, like, if I should be doing it, you probably should not be doing it. And that's just kind of like how I go by just peer pressure and everything. And I also like to just think about, if somebody is peer pressuring me, I like to forget about who they are for a second. If they're my friend, if I don't know them, and you just have to like close your eyes and just say, is this the right thing to do? And if you truly do not think that it is the right thing, then you just say no. You don't have to make an excuse like Trisha said. You just straight up say no.
I exactly agree with Bailey. I had always said that if you feel in your gut that it's not the right thing to do, then just always say no. It's better to be safe than sorry. And even if it is your friends, sometimes it happens even with them too. So always just know what's best for you.
So it's kind of a gut feeling, huh?
Yeah.
Whether if you feel like it's not right, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. So the last thing we have is, what is something that these students, what should they do in 5th and 6th grade that will prepare them for 7th and 8th grade? So maybe some advice or some tips. What could they do as 5th and 6th graders to prepare themselves for next year when they're then 7th and 8th graders?
I would say get involved as much as you can beforehand, because it will help you be prepared for a lot of activities that you can participate in 7th and 8th grade. And just like a bunch of those clubs and activities we mentioned beforehand that you can do in 5th and 6th grade, I think that doing a lot of those is good because it will help you learn time management beforehand.
Okay.
I would say, especially with everything going on with COVID, I would say focus on your schoolwork, because right now that is one of the most important things. You might not think it's important because you're just in middle school and it doesn't really matter, but getting prepared for 7th and 8th grade, it really does matter. So and even us high schoolers, we forget sometimes. It's not the end of the world, but just make sure that you're getting your schoolwork finished.
I think something that's important to be prepared for 7th and 8th grade is to always do your best. Although you're young and you may not think stuff now matters and it isn't important, it is, because it will lead to the next steps in your life. So you want to always do your best because it will help you out later.
Trisha stole what I was going to say, so I'll kind of just reiterate what she said. Doing your best, whether that's in the classroom, on a sports field, in the band room, anything like that. it just kind of, it gives you a reputation for doing your best, and you want to be known as somebody that's going to do your best no matter what it is. And you can get through life, and you can get through middle school and high school, just bogussing your way through it, not giving everything you got, and just barely doing enough to get by. And that might get you through for a couple years, and eventually you're going to come to the realization that you can't do that forever. And so I think engraving it when you're 5th and 6th graders, and 5th and 6th grade to 7th and 8th grade is a big step in your life in general. And I think preparing yourself while you're in 5th and 6th grade now make that transition easier, and just always being able to give your best no matter what the situation is going to help you.
Yeah, that's great. And like 5th and 6th grade, you're really setting up your like foundation for the rest of your middle school career and into high school. You're really setting those foundation, you're setting good habits and things like that. So those are all great points. So that's it. That's all that we have. I want to thank all of you guys for sharing your wisdom. At one point you guys were all sitting at the middle school and you were listening to seniors at the time talking about Trojan Pride. So it's kind of a tradition that we've kind of carried on over for the last few years, and I think it's a great one. So again, I thank you all for joining us and sharing your wisdom. So best of luck the rest of this year and into whatever you guys do after graduation. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.